Well, the oak tree is on fire. The Accra House of Folk, one of the biggest club in Ghana, there seems to be some tussle between the supporters and the board, and this is causing some sort of confusion in the team. And today on Untold Stories, we will delve into it from the supporters' side of or point of view after the board held a press conference earlier this week to discuss some of the issues that are actually happening in the club. And today on Untold Stories, I will have with me Elvis Herman. I don't know, sometimes I mess with his name a little, but I know I'll get it. He's here, so he would correct me. But Elvis Hessie Herman is our guest on the Untold Stories, and he is the chairman of the NCC. We will get into the nitty-gritties of all the happenings in House of Folk and where they seek to go with the current happenings in the club. We will be back shortly after this quick commercial break. Well, welcome on the show, Mr. Hessie. I mostly butcher your name, mostly in my head. But when I see you, I call you Elvis. So I think I don't really say the full name. But it was Elvis Hessie Herman. No, Betty. My name is Elvis Herman Hessie. Oh, okay, so I have changed it. Exactly. I am a native of Osu in the Greater Accra region. And I'm a proud guy. You're a proud guy. Very, very proud. You can see in your dressing. Exactly. I was just trying to adopt the colors of Accra House of Folk. Okay. We've got red, we've got blue. It's unfortunate that I couldn't add the yellow. But what does Accra House of Folk mean to you personally? Wow, that's a big one. Actually, if you take away the Almighty God, my beautiful wife and family, I eat Accra House of Folk, I sleep Accra House of Folk. The phobia spirit is in my family. My father's brother, Hesodamtin, played for Accra House of Folk. Ninwe, the owner, is also a long relation. So you could see that I come from a family that knows nothing apart from Accra House of Folk. So it's a phobia family. The blood runs in you. Exactly. Growing up, it was all a plan or your vision to one day or in future hold a position within House of Folk. Was it something that you envisaged? No, really, I didn't. In fact, I didn't at all, but I was doing my best. I was playing my part. I started, playing active role on the supporters front when I joined the Greater Accra Regional Chapters Committee as an executive member, a little over 6-7 years ago. And I think that I was doing a lot of good work, and I was recommended to, go for elections, which I won, emphatically. There seems to be some tussle between the supporters and the board. And this is not something that, started today. It's been there. I think 3 years ago, or a little above 3 years ago, even the supporters went on a demonstration against the board. Sure. What seems to be the problem? Is it that you have problems with some individuals? Akambi and Odotei, are they the problem? Are they the ones that the NCC or the supporters are fighting against? Let me put on record that the NCC supports Accra House of Folk and not any individual. And we must also admit that the club is very big and bigger than all of us. In fact, it is even bigger than the board chairman himself. And we also know that everybody shall pass, and maybe Accra House of Folk alone will remain. So we don't have targets, okay? When it doesn't go well, we speak our mind, but not because we don't like somebody. We love the club so much, and sometimes we just speak out because of the love we've got for the club. So who is the NCC fighting against? What are they seeking to correct within the club? The NCC is actually not fighting against anybody. It's been perceived that we fight against the board or the board is fighting against NCC. No, we all have a common destiny. We're all fighting for the same thing. We are a family. And for that matter, we are not fighting. But the NCC always intend, to ask the questions that our supporters cannot ask. Many of our supporters, because the communication between the club and the supporters is sometimes poor, the supporters rely on us so much, to give them those relevant information. And those information, when we also seek it from management or the board, it doesn't come. And for that matter, we resort to the media as a means to get the information.
So the information flow, you think there is a problem with information flow, and so that's why probably you see in the news that the NCC or the supporters are in a tussle with the board.
The board is supposed to implement some measures, okay? When you go to Liverpool currently, every quarter of the year, and the quarter is 3 months, they have a forum with their supporters. They've got supporters leaders like we've got here. They've got the trust. Okay, so they have a forum with their supporters. They discussed issues pertaining to the club. They allow the supporters to ask relevant questions. Okay, and they factor the role of the supporters in their plans, be it short-term, medium-term, or long-term.
Okay.
So it tells you the value those clubs play on their supporters. In our side, or in Ghana here, let me specifically mention Accra Heart of Oak. There seems to be some distance between the NCC
and the board.
Okay. And I think that is not effective. That is not helping us. I am suggesting that at times the board should realize that they are the highest decision-making body of the club, and they should find times when they will invite the NCC, other stakeholders like the Heart Ladies, AUPA, which are the Old Supporters Union, and any other person who matters to discuss issues that will take the club forward. I think that the club has also done a lot of good things, which they've not communicated well because of their failure to meet with those organs to discuss.
Odotei and Akambi and Dr. Nyahu Tamaklu, are they the problems of Accra Heart of Oak?
It would be unfortunate to say that they are the problem or they are not the problem.
Because they seem to be the individuals that supporters are calling for their head. And it didn't start today. Anytime there is, Heart of Oak is underperforming. Especially we saw, they being kicked out of the CAF Confederations Cup. And then the chorus is, Odotei should step down. Akambi should step down. Are they the ones not, handling the club well? Are they the problem when it comes to Heart of Oak?
I wouldn't be in a position to say whether they have the problems or they are not the problem. But perhaps when it goes well, when we are winning, when the right things are being done, their posture to the supporters looks like they are doing all the good things.
Okay.
So
when things go south,
exactly,
they should be blamed as well.
Exactly, that is where the problem is, because you would not be able to identify their portfolio in the club. They are supposed to be top managers, board members, okay, and there should be management in that order. We have the supporters groups and other groups in that order. So their role is to implement policies at the top, okay, and direct the club very well. So when they come down to the level where they try to communicate to the supporters that, hey, we are in the helm of affairs, we are making this to happen, we are making this to happen. When it goes wrong, then the supporters do what?
They blame them.
Then they blame them. Because I am the supporters leader. Ideally, I should be blamed by my supporters. But because of their rule and because of their posture, okay, that is why I suspect that the supporters will vent their anger on them.
There was a press conference by the majority shareholder, Togbe, backing these two and saying most of the success chalked by Heart of Oak as a result of their hard work. These two, they are working so hard. He talked about Akambi being at Pobiman, locking down the prices of cement and all that, seeing to it that things go well with Pobiman. But it seems the supporters are still not seeing the good work that they are doing. Do you still, are you in the same line with what the majority shareholder said?
The majority shareholder and the board chairman may have his own views, and he has expressed his views about them. I think that is fair. We were not expecting anything more than what we had.
Really?
So yes.
You expected him to come and back them?
Yes, we do.
Why?
This is not the first time that the two were blamed. Okay, it's been like so many years now. I took charge of the NCC a little over 3 years ago. But even before I became the NCC chairman, I have also heard in the social media in the traditional media and everywhere, that there are the problems, there are this, and the board chairman consistently defends them. So it was to no surprise to some of us, especially the level at which the board chairman went in defending them. That is fine. When somebody is very loyal to you, it will be difficult for you to disown him.
You think he's loyal to Togbe than Hasselhoff?
But if you look at the posture of our board chairman yesterday, it would tell you that they are very loyal to him.
To him as an individual?
Yes.
And not to Hasselhoff?
That is at the discretion of our supporters. Because they may be loyal to Togbe and our majority shareholder, but they may not be loyal to the club. Because, for instance, the board chairman cited instances that Alhaji Akambi goes to Pobiman at 6 a.m. and many of the supporters are asleep. Let me tell you, Betty, before we played the match against Real Bamako on Sunday, some of our supporters leaders woke up around 4 a.m. going from New Plant Station to VIP Station looking for buses to convey supporters to the stadium free of charge. Really? Yes, we did. It was all over social media. The NCC solicited for funds and also took money from its bank account to buy tickets. Thousands of tickets, free of charge to the supporters. That is the role we are also playing. And you see, when it comes to achievements in a football club, you cannot identify only a section, okay? Because it works this way. It's a collective effort. So if the board is playing its role, the management is playing its role, and other parties are playing their role, and the supporters are not involved, you will see that that vacuum will be created. And it's unfortunate that the board chairman did not acknowledge the role of the supporters yesterday. It's very unfortunate. We were not happy about it. A lot of calls came through, especially when he cited the trophies we won in the 2021-2022 season. You are a media person. You followed the team. You saw the supporters at the Liberty Stadium. You saw them in their numbers. You saw them chanting at Enyinasi. You saw them in Kumasi. You saw them in Adriana. You saw them all over the country. Let me also put on record to you that in our match that we played on Sunday, a supporter traveled all the way from Enchi to Accra, and on his way back to Enchi, he was involved in an accident. Wow. As I speak to you now, he's in the hospital. That is also sacrifice. You get what I'm trying to say? So nobody is saying that the board chairman, okay, should not or must not love them. Okay, fair enough. But we feel that other people also deserve such recommendations for the role they play without remuneration, just as the two of them. Okay, so it's unfortunate. And we believe that the board chairman maybe will come again.
Well, there have been some school of thoughts that believe that Hasselhoff supporters don't contribute anything to the club. And so you don't have any say in whatever that happens with regards to sacking of coaches, decisions made by the board of management. What's your take on that?
What does Esperance supporters contribute to Esperance of Tunis?
Well, maybe I mean, purchase of tickets, they pay dues and all that.
That is exactly what we also do. People are getting it all wrong. When the first Umbro came, in 3, 4, 5 months, Accra Hearts of Oak supporters had purchased all. People could not find Umbro to buy in this country. Okay? Yes, we may admit that the numbers at the stadium are not enough. But that, I tell you, is a general problem. Especially to the teams located in the major cities like Accra and Kumasi. You can check for yourself. But irrespective of that, the supporters of Heart of Oak have been buying the jerseys. Some or good number of supporters have been attending matches. And when we won the league, you saw it for yourself. It is also for the board or for the management to roll out initiatives together with the National Chapters Committee to find ways of what? getting the supporters to pay dues. It is not the supporters who have to put up that initiatives. It is the club. I support Manchester United. I pay my dues every year, not every month. That is how I decide to subscribe. What do I get? I don't go to watch Manchester United matches. But at the beginning of every season, they send me package. I receive a package. You see, either it's a tracksuit, up and down, or it's a jersey. Okay? That is what I gain. That is an initiative from the club. I didn't just sit in Accra and say I support Manchester United and that they are not seeing my contribution. They had rolled out an initiative, and that was how I subscribed online and became part of Manchester United supporters. So what at all are people expecting from Accra to full supporters? Supporters, what is their role? Their role is to come to the Accra Sports Stadium or to come to the stadium to support for 90 minutes. Their role is to purchase jerseys and paraphernalia, like you see in the Manchester and in other countries. They wear the paraphernalia. Who are supposed to provide those paraphernalia? Is it not the clubs? Are they available, or the ones that we see on the floor, on the bare markets? So why are they blaming the supporters?
Well, Togbe believes that, I mean, in recent years, Hearts of Oak is doing well. I mean, you have a new secretariat. Pobman is also progressing steadily. Maybe on field you are not getting the results, but football is now not only about the 3 points on the field. What do the supporters want from Hearts of Football?
Let me acknowledge that the supporters appreciate the efforts of the board chairman. And I am speaking on behalf of the supporters in this regard. They appreciate it a lot. The beautiful edifice we see, which will very soon become our head office, it's so beautiful. We appreciate the commercial center. We appreciate the Pobiman project. But let me tell you, do you know how football clubs are valued?
Yeah.
How are they valued? The trophies.
The trophies, yeah.
The honors. So when you hear people talk that Manchester United is the most successful, or Real Madrid is the most successful club in Europe, it is not because of the...
Yeah, the trophies that they've won.
Very good. It is not because of infrastructure. If it's all about infrastructure, then West African Football Academy, WAFA, is on relegation and infrastructure is there. But look, the supporters of Hearts of Oak, since time immemorial, are used to what? Winning on the pitch. Even though they admit that football, okay, there are 3 things involved, whether you lose, you draw, or you win. But you know, Hearts of Oak supporters knows the pedigree of the club. They sometimes don't expect, even though sometimes it happens in football, but not constantly. When teams like Real Bamako in West Africa comes to eliminate us from the Confederation Cup, when teams like JS Swara, formed just a little over 20 years or 10 years ago, eliminate us, if we don't compete at the highest level in Africa, the name Accra Hearts of Oak would not be recognized by FIFA or CAF, no matter the facilities, no matter the infrastructure we put up. Currently, let me ask you, Betty, what is the position of Accra Hearts of Oak and Kotoko on the list of top clubs in Africa? You are a media person. Go and check and come back and tell me.
Your numbers are not doing well, actually.
That is it. So if they were looking at infrastructure alone, then some teams that you see at the top there would not be there. We really appreciate it. I personally appreciate it. And if the board chairman is listening to me or watching now, personally, very beautiful edifice. We all love it. But the target, the standard of Accra Hearts of Oak is very high. We know that he's doing his best, but our supporters are such that they've seen trophies a lot. We are not saying that it is always that we're going to win trophies, but we do not expect that because of some managerial, lapses.
You think there are managerial lapses?
Yes, sometimes there are. If you look at last season when we were going to Morocco, a lot of people were complaining. The players even complained to some of us that, look, when they got to Morocco, they had tired legs because they used Emirates, they traveled over 17 hours. Those are managerial lapses.
How would you describe the reign of Togbe Afede as the board chairman of Accra Hearts of Oak?
He's doing his best. I think he's doing his best. I think he has done well. I think that he took the club from somewhere and he has done his part and he's doing it. He's trying to put the club at a certain level. But the board and the management must accept criticisms. they must also listen to the supporters so that where we fall short, we'll be able to what? Fix. That is all.
Has he been accountable enough? Not him, but the board. Have they been accountable enough?
In recent times, we've not been to the AGM, the annual general meeting. That is where all the accountings are done. And in 4 years now, we've not been to the AGM.
4 years?
Yes, that is a long time. We have heard that it's because of COVID, but before COVID, we had not attended AGM for 2 years now. And some things have not been made clear. Okay,
things like what?
Yeah, we were expecting that when the beautiful edifice, like the Secretariat, was going to put up, you know, a press release would be put out, or the supporters leaders would be informed that, oh, we are putting up this edifice at this amount. You understand?
You want to know the figures to the edifice.
It's important.
And the Pobiman project.
It's important. It's very, very important. When the supporters know all of these things, they trust in the system.
Are the supporters ready to contribute any amount if they decide to put it out there and they ask for contribution from the supporters?
They have not asked. So we cannot perceive that the supporters will contribute or not. Yet it is not the role of the supporters to put up infrastructure. It is not done anywhere.
No, you probably are contributing.
If it is free contribution, fine, fair enough. That is why I'm saying that it should not be perceived that the supporters will not do it. When the team won those trophies in the 2021-2022 seasons, the supporters contributed money. We donated about 50,000 cash to the players as a token to show our appreciation. I don't see Manchester United supporters giving Manchester United players money. Does it happen in Manchester?
Not that I know of.
But in Ghana, we contributed money. We gave them cash amount of 50,000. We gave them some drinks. We gave them other items.
Did it come as a shock to you when you lost to Real Bamako at the Accra Sports Stadium in the return leg of the CAF Confederation?
It came to us as a shock when we lost to Real Bamako by 3-0 in Bamako. When the balloting was made or was done, we thought that this was a cool deal. This was a cool deal. This was a club that we could match, okay, or even beat hands down. So when the news came that we've lost by 3-0, it came to us as a shock. And I think that apart from we talking about management, board and other things, we should also emphasize on the players. Okay, the players should know that they are playing for Accra Hearts of Oak. And if they feel that they are not comfortable, or if they feel that they are not receiving the support, then they shouldn't go to the field and play with the hearts of most of our supporters.
I think winning 1-0 here in Accra, you didn't receive it so well. Was it the reason why you lost your cool?
I didn't lose my cool. I was a leader. My supporters lost their cool. Okay, so whatever you saw in a viral video between myself and Mr. Odotei was as a result of the fact that he came to approach me. He said that some supporters were threatening him, and that as their leader, he expects me to go and talk to him, to them.
So it wasn't like you were fighting him?
Not at all.
But he approached you because he think, or he...
I wouldn't even say he approached me. He charged on me. If you look at the reaction in the video, he charged on me, okay? It was provoked. It was as if he was provoked. He was provoked. So he charged on me, and you could see that his fingers were pointing at my direction and telling me I should go and talk to the supporters who are threatening him. And I made it clear to him that that is not the place to do that. I have known our supporters for so many years. Sometimes when it is not going on well, they pass and they say things, you allow them to go. But if somebody threatened you, you should identify the person. It was at the VVIP section. Security were there. You should have called on a security. Not me. I am not in the stadium to provide security for people who threatens other people.
So you would say he rather attacked you?
Something like that, because he was of the view that I was at the stadium.
You were the one instigating the fans.
Initially, he wanted me to go and talk to them, not because I was instigating them, because I was sitting quietly watching the match. 5 minutes to the first 45 minutes of the game. He was also seated about 50 meters away from me. So I was not instigating anybody. I was watching. My focus was on the pitch. You understand? But I saw him from where I was seated, that he was having arguments with some of the supporters. I didn't approach. I only went in to separate them when I realized the NCC deputy organizer was involved. Because he is an executive, and I felt that he shouldn't have gotten involved.
Yeah.
So I pulled the NCC deputy organizer away. I made sure he went down street. I told him what he's going is not good. He's a leader. And the other supporters should not see him in that, reacting in that way. So I took him out of the place. On my return, I assumed my seat. And that was the video you saw. It was when I resumed my seat that Mr. Odotei charged on me that I am sitting down, looking on, while the supporters were threatening him. How would I identify a supporter who threatened Mr. Odotei, who was seated 50 meters away from me? And there was a policeman standing just on his right, and there is a policeman standing on my left. It is, let us note that before you enter the presidential area, there are police officers on the two sides. So I expected that Mr. Odotei would have what? Alerted the police that please, take this out, take this out. They were threatening because I would not condone violence. So
were you arrested because of that?
No, nobody arrested me. Nobody picked me up.
How come there were news all over that you've been arrested, that Odotei has, filed a complaint and that you've been arrested?
I wouldn't know whether it is planned to discredit me. I wouldn't know whether it was planned to tarnish my image. I wouldn't know whether it was planned to tarnish my reputation. But God is almighty. God is good, okay? The police called me about an hour to our press conference on Monday and said that a complaint was made against me by Mr. Odotei. And that
for what?
For inciting the supporters against him.
Okay.
This was the charge. As a law-abiding citizen of this country, I obliged and even spoke to my executives for us to what? Abandon the press conference. This tells you who I am. This should tell you that I am not that type of a person who will encourage violence. So I proceeded to the police station at the ministries, and they told me the charges that I incited the supporters, and that was what contributed to the supporters causing damage to his car. I said, that's okay. What shows? I was seated at the VVIP area. Those destroying the car were down here. There was no picture or video evidence to show that I was even close to the scene. In fact, it was later in the evening that I came to see the car. How? When people misbehave, okay, they are left when there are cameras all over. So Mr. Odotei himself stated in one of his media interviews that the whole place is full of cameras. He said it in one of his interviews, that there were security, BNI, all over. So it came to me as surprise when he knew very well that there is security all over, and I am the one to be held responsible.
Well, not you personally, but for the supporters that you represent. Do you think it is their wish that the board chair would replace Odotei and Akambi? Do you think it's their wish?
Let me be very honest with you. The supporters are divided on this issue.
They are divided?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Majority of the supporters feels that Odotei and Akambi's closeness to the team is not helping. Closeness to the team? Exactly. What does that mean? You know, they are close to the team. They move with the team. They go everywhere. And the board chairman stated yesterday that Akambi is everywhere. Okay, apart from Pobiman, he goes for all away matches. You see, the players also talk to the supporters. Management members also talk to the supporters. I don't even have the opportunity to talk to the supporters all the time. So as to how the supporters get some information about the two of them sometimes amazes me. So sometimes I ask questions. Where from this? They say, oh, this player came to tell us.
I see.
You get my point. So it is for the club to investigate. So that some of the players are even unhappy with the two. Exactly. They talk. They say it.
You have a new coach. I mean, Samuel Boydu sack. I think there was also a division of opinions on his sack. Many believe he did not deserve it. I mean, looking at the fact that you guys were preparing for Africa. Now you have a new coach in place. A Serbian. Do you think that he will be able to turn things around for the club?
I told you earlier that performance is based on collective efforts. The coach cannot do it all alone. That is why we've changed coaches over the years. The coach will need the necessary support from the board, the management, and especially the supporters in order to achieve his dream. And that was why some of us were worried when the board chairman did not acknowledge the supporters yesterday.
It seems you are really not happy with the fact that...
No, we are not.
The board chairman did not acknowledge...
We are not happy about that. We are not at all. I must be very, very, very honest with you. Because the new coach will need the supporters to survive. Okay?
How are they accepting the new coach, the supporters? How are they welcoming him?
They are welcoming him.
Are they happy?
No, they are not, because, like I said earlier, they were not recognized yesterday in the press conference. So, how do you expect them to welcome him? Okay? The reaction is not as we expected. That is why I'm saying that the coach needs the supporters most. He will be going for away matches in some places that he has never seen before. He will be going to Enyenasi. He will be going to Doma. Okay, he will be going to a lot of venues like Bichim, and it is the supporters who are going to be with him. Most of the board members will not be there. Most of the management members will not be there. It is majority of the supporters who are going to cheer him on. So it is always important that in all our statements, we acknowledge the role of the supporters.
Are you looking forward to a meeting with the board? I mean, apologizing to the supporters for not acknowledging them in his press conference. Is this something you are looking forward to?
He is our father. We respect him, and we will never demand that he apologizes to us. No. But we are requesting, or we are appealing to him to acknowledge the supporters most of the times, because we have identified that in most of his speeches, he doesn't acknowledge the supporters.
It's all about Akambi and Odotei.
Exactly, and that is our worry. But we are not asking him to apologize.
Maybe
no, he's our father.
They are his favorite sons.
But that is unfortunate because they don't play the ball. They are not the only supporters in Ghana. They may be favorite to the board chairman. And I stated to you earlier.
Maybe they are doing things that's exciting. They are working. He is seeing them work.
It is because he's seeing them. But I'm saying that he's not seeing what others are doing. The board chairman did not see when supporters leaders stood up at 4, 5 a.m. And they were going from station to station, radio station to radio station, promoting the match. The board chairman did not see when supporters leaders and some supporters were going from New Plant station to one station, trying to find or to get buses to convey supporters to the Accra Sports Stadium free of charge. You mean that the board chairman did not see the number of supporters who were at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday? Is that what you are telling me, Betty? The board chairman saw it. It's obvious. Yeah. So, we are not taking it away from him. He can acknowledge them. That is fine. But we are saying that we also play a huge role and our effort must be acknowledged. Let me tell you, Akambi and Odotei, like the board chairman says, they don't earn remunerations. Yeah. But when they travel out of Accra, they are paid. They are given per diems. They are given good hotels to sleep in. When they travel to Mali, they earn some per diems. NCC, which is an organ of the club, we are not saying that the club should give us money. We also do it free of charge. Yeah. If we are playing against Kotoko on Sunday, we move sometimes in Accra. On Friday, our own fuel. Sometimes we sit in the bus, we risk our lives. We go and promote the match. On match days, you will see us chanting. So why is it that we will not be recognized?
Well, finally, if there were ever to flow shares, I mean, do you think that the majority shares, I mean, as an individual holding majority shares should be something of the past? Do you think it's not helping the club?
I am not in a position.
Because as TT Brother stated, he feels that now Hearts of Oak is for an individual, not as a community club. And that's because there's an individual who holds a majority shares in the club.
The individual in question has the powers to make Accra Hearts of Oak a community club. It's about will.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We all say Accra Heart of Folk is a traditional club, not because it's located in Accra. It is because some people made it. Betty, don't you have a target in life?
Oh, obviously, I do have a target.
Are we not always saying that Accra Heart of Folk is continental club masters?
Yes, you
What
used
makes
to.
us continental? That is in the past.
Yes.
So we still want to be continental club masters. We still want to be the 5th best club in the world. We were 8th best club some time ago. These are bragging rights.
Yeah.
This is all the supporters enjoy. The supporters don't want any money. The supporters don't even care who is the winner of Accra Heart of Folk. People are thinking that we are personalizing issues. No. We don't care who owns Accra Heart of Folk. It could be Togbe today, it could be another person tomorrow. You understand?
Yeah.
No situation is permanent. You understand what I mean? All we want is for the club to perform. We admit at times it may go wrong, but we want the club to be consistent. You understand me? That's all we want.
All right, so that's how we close the curtains on today's episode of the Untold Stories. We hosted National Chapters Committee Chairman, or NCC Chairman, Elvis Hessie Herman, and it's all about Hearts of Folk today on today's episode of the Untold Stories. My name is Betty Yosin. Thank you to Willie for helping with the camera works. And also, if you're watching and gotten to this point, then click on our subscription button and also like our video and share. Leave a comment on what you think about the interview and what you expect and who you want us to interview on our next episode of the Untold Stories. Do have a great day and we see you in our next episode.